What's going on, everybody? It's Austin Holloman. If you are in the building, leave a 1 in the chat. I might be live for an hour or two real quick. And then we'll do a little catch up because I haven't uploaded a video in almost a week, it seems. And we'll do a 5-month in Nairobi, not leaving the city or the county or the area, the metropolitan area. Update on what it's like. Get a video a like, share it with somebody first if you're watching. Guys, Nairobi is the place I need to be at. It's been 5 months now, and I'm still in love with it. Now I don't have the honeymoon effect like I did the first. There's other people calling me when I start going live on the phone, but I don't have the same honeymoon effect that I had whenever I first got here 2 or 3 months ago. Of course, you're excited every time you touch down somewhere basically new or somewhere you haven't been in a while. You get a euphoric effect. I don't have it as much anymore, but this is not a place where, like, if you got the money to do as much as you want, like hang out as much as you want, live where you want to live, eat out as much as you want, go as many dates as you want. Like, this is like literally a paradise if you fit that criteria. But I've been hanging out so much. Do I miss South America a little bit? Like 10%. I miss it. I miss remembering it. I don't miss being there. I liked it while I was there. But if you had to ask me, do I want to be there or here, I would be here without even thinking. I've been here almost 5 months. No, I've been here 5 months. No, it's been 5 months since yesterday. So I've been here 5 months, and yeah, I could stay another 6 without even thinking, and the time will fly by. I would go back to South America for a month max, maybe 2 months max. 2 months is pushing it. Let's say a month max. But really, I don't have a reason to. Like I said a couple months ago, I have a business here that's doing very well. I have a huge friend circle here. They speak English. The weather is perfect. I love hot weather. It doesn't get hot enough for me here. It gets hot, but it doesn't really get hot. But it's nothing to complain about. So I'm just happy here. I've started my routine here where I wake up at 5 a.m. I've been up since 5 a.m. today, so I've officially settled all the way in. Plus, I've invested money in this apartment. I don't know if I feel like dealing with adding danger back to my life. There's no danger for a man. You're not really running into any danger here. So, but Bobby and I have been talking. We've both been saying we getting tired of just seeing a bunch of chicks and stuff. I'm ready to just kick it with one chick for a bit. I said that last time, but like, I'm really, really serious now because meeting, different personalities. This chick is dumb. This one's cool. This one don't know how to do chores. Like, and she doesn't come over here to my place to be a maid. But at the same time, my shit shouldn't look worse than when you walked in. Because now every time I invite you, I'm thinking, oh, here we go. She finna come fuck my house up again. I'm not dealing with that. So, I can't, I'm just getting to, here's the thing. I done been on a lot of dates now. I done enjoyed myself. So, whenever people like Andrew Tate and them be saying like, in your 20s, you should just have your head in the sand and just work. Fuck that advice. I'm glad I did what the hell I wanted, because if I stopped right now, I'm still young and I can still build my future. And I already enjoyed myself. I went to 25 fucking countries, but I did enjoy myself a lot here. Fuck all that. Wait until you 30. Kevin Samuels and them used to be talking about wait till you 35 to. Fuck that. Probably commit a damn suicide before I wait that damn long. But yeah, no, I'm doing very well here. Very well here. But right now, I can make a lot more money if I just had like a girlfriend or something. Something I was building on a little more. I will say you do waste a lot of money trying to find new women all the time. It's fun, but it costs. Because you got to always be outside. If I stay in the house here, I could literally spend probably max $10 a day. I don't have to spend nothing, but I could probably spend $10 a day max. And that's going to the gym and coming back. I have food, I have a full kitchen damn near at this point, so. To be fair, you put in the work and date. A lot of men, yeah, so I think that's what people are saying. Well, that's what I'm saying is like, yeah, you can, a lot of those gurus, and I say this all the time, they leave out the fact that, yeah, in your 20s, you should be building your future. But again, you still need to tell the young people, like, hey, that's not the only thing you should be doing. I don't want to just fucking work for 10 years straight. You can do both. You can date and work. It's possible. I just did it for fucking 4 years straight. I've been in Nakuru. I got invited to Kisumu, but I haven't made it there yet. I'll go to the next African country I think I'll go to is Angola. But again, I'm not really. If you guys have been to Nairobi, this is a very comfortable place to be in. Like, there's not really a need to leave once you get here. Like, whenever I was in Paraguay, there was pretty chicks in Paraguay, but like, it was so boring there. It was like, yeah, at some point I'm gonna have to leave. Let's talk about lawsuits. I currently have one active lawsuit, and I have many, many threats for others. Many threats for others. To the point where now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, well, you don't like what I did. Here's my lawyer's number. Call him and tell him, and let's get a date set up to go to court. Do it. I have him on a retainer, so do it. If you're serious, get the hell off my phone and do it. You'll find out what the lawsuit is about whenever it's done. It's bullshit, though. But it's part of the game. People, the more eyeballs you have, the more people just randomly. That's why I exaggerate. And I say, hey, I tied my shoelace in your video, Austin. I'm suing you. I don't think anybody has went that dumb with it. But I'm just exaggerating to show you about how small of a thing that you wouldn't notice somebody would try to make something out of it. But so far, my goals for 2025 is to pay the rent off at this place for the rest of the year, and pay off my student loans, and then save a little more money. And then next year, I'll start buying some stuff. Unless the stuff just starts going really good and I have a lot more excess money than I expect, then I'll do that. Hold on, let me get some more wine and another cigar real quick. everybody wondering, this is the wine I'm drinking. It's a South African wine, if you couldn't see. I tell you what's funny. I have not been seeing any more videos critiquing Austin. Y'all remember when they used to come out with them, yeah, I've been hitting them squats a lot, man. Thank you. Yeah, I've been, I do legs like 3 times a week. But my routine now is I was eating 5 boiled eggs a day for the protein. Don't do that. It was so much cholesterol when I tried to drink wine or alcohol. I had such a bad heartburn. It literally felt like my stomach acid was just floating in my throat right here. It burned so bad to try to drink alcohol. And that's the minute I stopped eating that many boiled eggs. I cut it down to 2 boiled eggs a day. And I eat close to, let's say, about a kilo of beef a day, but not every day because that dehydrates you a lot. What do you think about Zoe saying women are the same everywhere? I've already stated that. I've heard a lot of, it's not just Zoe, a lot of men say women are the same everywhere. And I'm gonna keep this short because I'm tired of describing this shit. We've had this debate many times. Again, laws and culture make them different. Do they have a vagina and breasts? Yes. Do they all nag? Yes. Do they all make you want to say, you know what, I can see why men are in charge of the world? Yes. Every woman I've encountered, not every woman, every group of women I've been around in the world, I'm like, oh, the logic that they have, I could see why men have been in charge. Yes, that's worldwide. There's certain things that are worldwide about women, but no, you're not going to convince me. Again, I'm going to use the extreme examples. You're not going to convince me if I date a woman in Saudi Arabia that it's going to be the same as dating a woman in fucking Texas. It's just not even, that's not even up for discussion. Yeah, the reason, like, people are not the same worldwide. They're not. Like, the reason Americans act like big children and arrogant is because we have a culture that embraces that type of behavior. Versus, I'm pretty sure if you go to North Korea, they don't have freedom of speech, so they don't act the same way that we do. They don't look at stuff the same way, so they can't be the same. Now, if they were given the same environment, if you took a person from North Korea and put them in the United States, eventually they would slowly change, but that's not the fucking case. They're in North Korea, not the United States. Yeah, somebody said women aren't even the same state to state. They're not even the same city to city. I hated the women in Dallas. I mean, I hated them. I really did. And then if I went to Fort Worth, I was like, okay, this is like better. If I went to Austin, I'm like, okay, I could do this. Houston, I could do this. They couldn't have been the same. And I'm not from Dallas. I'm from Arlington, actually. So we can't say it's because I'm from Dallas. I only lived in Dallas for 3 years. I lived in Arlington for about, like, 15 years. And, like, I think the first 2 or 3 years of my life, I lived in Fort Worth. So, no. Is it easy to get a visa to live in Nigeria? I've never been. I will tell you this, most African countries, it's very, very hard to, like, the whole citizenship and the whole residency thing is, like, not easy. I mean, it's costly, is what I'm trying to say. The citizenship is not easy, but the residency is like, yeah. Like I've heard some dudes in African countries say that they paid 6 grand for a 3 year residency. Well, it's $1,500 for a 2 year residency in most Latin American countries. So when you make that comparison, uh, that's extremely expensive. Getting citizenship, unless if you have like a bloodline there, you can prove that you have an ancestry there. It's gonna be very difficult. You know, I recently have met people that have spent or that are spending $1 million in a country. I'm saying from experience, they've spent $1 million in a country, and they still have to buy a residency. Now, if you go to Turkey and you spend $400,000, if you buy a house for $400,000 in Turkey, you can apply for citizenship. In most African countries, like that doesn't even get you residency, which is crazy as hell. That you could spend $1 million and like you still have to add a fee on top for residency. That is fucking crazy, if you ask me. Yeah, I'm from Fort Worth. Born in Fort Worth, but I spent the majority of my life in Arlington. You can get citizenship in African countries, but not in the wine is actually really good. You can get citizenship in African countries, just East Africa. For most Black Americans, most of our lineage is not gonna be over here. So most of y'all can forget about that. I'm gonna trace my blood shit. If you want to stay here, you're gonna have to go a different route. But I would, yeah, I need to apply for the one in Ghana. I mean, I don't know why I haven't felt the need to spend $300 on the. Like, I spent way more than $300 on the other stuff that I didn't need, like cigars and alcohol. Uh, but when it comes to that test, it's like, yeah, I always procrastinate spending $300 on that. Somebody asked, "What's the weather like?" I'll show you. The weather's been perfect. I need to wipe off my camera, but the weather's been perfect out here. The weather has been. The only thing I don't like about Nairobi is the cool nights. I would prefer for the weather to be where if I'm wearing, like, I can wear shorts right now outside because I am. I can wear shorts during the midday, and even like at 8 o'clock in the morning, I can wear shorts. But as soon as it gets to like 7 o'clock, it's like a breeze that comes through, and like you need a jacket at night. Some people like that. Obviously, I like it if I chose to still live here. But yeah, it would be nice if it could stay. I haven't been here where it's consistently warm all day, every day. It's usually cool at night. So like when the sun goes down, I don't ever smoke on this balcony unless if it's during the daytime because it's too cool. It kind of kills the experience of smoking a cigar. Somebody said Crystal Cavani in your next video, please. I seen her at this place. She kept the conversation short with me. I mean, she was cool. She spoke first. But yeah, she kept it short. Yeah, I definitely feel more welcome in Kenya than Ghana. So I ran into this Kenyan guy that watches my videos at the mall. If Trump fixes the culture, would you go back? No, because it's too expensive. What's the weather like snowing in New Orleans? Oh, I already showed you that. Yeah, it's. I mean, I lived in the States. It's not too expensive for me to live. It just feels too expensive now because I've gotten used to living for $1,200 a month. Survival. I spend way more than that a month. I'm just saying that's what it costs me to survive. When going back home, like if you're paying $1,200 a month in rent in Dallas now, like they hitting licks in your apartments. So no. And there's a safety issue in the States too. But I ran into this Kenyan guy at Village Market, and he stopped me and he's like, "How do you like it?" I was like, "I love it. I moved here." And he's like, "Why do you love it?" And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "The taxes are too high. It's corrupt. What did he say? There's not a lot of opportunity." And I hear this all the time from Kenyans. And I always say, we come from different backgrounds. I come from the United States, so I'm not worried about the opportunities in the country. I already thought of that before I got here. Like I didn't come to Kenya looking for a job. Like Americans, we don't go to second and third world countries looking for jobs. So that we gotta scratch that reason off the list. And if you got money, the corruption isn't too much of an issue. So scratch that one off the list. What was the other one? The taxes are too high. And that's that. I didn't even have that issue in the States either. I've been knowing how to file taxes for a while. So, and I told him, well, like, hey, my social life here is better. Like, the United States is good for a job. He's like, everybody wants to go there. Yeah, for a job. There's more to life than fucking working all day. I tried that. Like that whole, oh, y'all got good jobs in the States. Yeah, try working every day, all day. And then, like, yeah, everybody else is doing the same thing and they have that isolated culture. So, what's the, like, yeah, that's like, to me, if I was a Kenyan or somebody, I would go to the United States as like a boot camp. I would go there and raise money and then come back. I mean, why not? You can live better for here for what it costs you to survive there is what it costs you to thrive here. Literally. Like if you're living in Miami or New York, your expenses are probably $3,500 a month, like minimum. If you're bringing in $35 a month here, there's a lot of shit. There's not a lot of shit that you can't do. And I know the people in Africa and Latin America and Asia, since the opportunities are not better, so they tend to get overworked more. So you'll find it very common. When I was in Paraguay, Brazil, Peru, here, just about everywhere, you know, people will work 12-hour shifts every day, but they still somehow managed to find a way to hang out with friends after work. And in the United States, I think that's what a lot of us are missing. Like we just become so absorbed in just working in this Andrew Tate-ass endless self journey. That's why I always call it the endless self journey, because it seems like the shit never ends. Like you never get a return on investment. So I was telling him that, and he's like, no, the average Kenyan doesn't have a social life. I disagree with that. From what I've seen, the poorest Kenyans still, even they might be at a hole in the wall, but they're still having a good time drinking and talking. Everybody's talking. When you go out in the States, nobody's even talking when you go out. Fuck that. So that's why I like it. I'm using an iPhone for this live stream. Give us a tour of the richest neighborhoods. And so the thing is, the richest neighborhoods in Nairobi, usually the houses are not visible. They all have a gate. It's not like in the States where you can drive through a nice neighborhood and they got like no fence in the front yard, or if it is a fence, it's very low and you can see the entire house with the yard and all that and the cars parked. And even in Brazil, it's like this too. You can see the nice houses, but they're usually behind this tall, barbed wire, electric gate, brick wall. So I would have to have permission to go into a few houses. Yeah, no, I live in Kenya for as long as possible. I think by now it should be clear. I know my hands are dry as hell. I think it should be clear by now. Like I said, I have no plans to leave. Yeah, there was colorism in Brazil. I wouldn't say it reminded me of the States, because the way how they dealt with racism in Brazil is completely different than we did. But like I said before, I just don't have to deal with none of that shit. And then another thing about the reason that I'm black and like Africans are considered black people too, if you go off the color scale. We're not gonna get into that today, but I think we all understand what the hell I'm saying. We don't look that much different if we do it all. Try going to an all black gathering or get together in the States. And there's three things that you'll see there, at least one. Either it's gonna be somebody trying to fight or shoot, or it's gonna be a bunch of ghetto ass women. One of the three. It might be all three. One of the three. The only way you can avoid that is by going to. You had to spend like $400 in one sitting. Like you would have to go to a place that upscale to escape the bullshit if you go to an all black event. And what are the chances of there being only black people at a place that's that expensive in the States? I have yet to see a place that was that expensive where it was only black people in there. So one thing you get here is you can actually have, and they got ghetto people in every culture, but not really. But I mean, they got the low, you know what I'm trying to say. You can get that here where you can just hang out and it's just peaceful. And people come out to socialize. It's not all that bullshit. Black people in Brazil look different from black people in Africa. That's because they're mixed. Most of those black people in Brazil are mixed. But if you've done enough traveling around Brazil, you can see that there's some people that are like not mixed at all. Like they look just as African as the Africans. I think Medellin might be a little more developed, or it might be the same as far as development compared to Nairobi. It's not that much of a difference. Maybe Medellin may be slightly more if you go down to extreme details, but one thing that Medellin has that this place doesn't is crime. Nobody's gonna rob you in Nairobi at gunpoint. If you do, please take a picture before you get robbed, because I would love to see it. I have never heard of anybody coming, no foreigner coming here getting robbed at gunpoint. No, I've never experienced racism in Africa. I'm racist towards everybody. How do you like that? There are a lot of white people here in Nairobi, a lot more than you would think. There's no short, I mean, they don't make up like 10%, but there's no shortage of them either. Like you're gonna see white people every day if you're staying in the areas that you need to be in. Of course, if you're in Kiambu or Kibera, yeah, you could go probably 2-3 days without seeing a white person. But there's plenty of them here. It says I'm black and I have blue eyes. There's black people in the Congo with blue eyes. Look it up. And they not mixed. I was here during rainy season. I believe October, November was rainy season. And another thing, getting a car in Nairobi is like a commitment. It's a dedication. They drive like maniacs here. I mean, I've almost lost my life many times in the car. I've seen people, like, they got these buses that they call matatus. Those damn buses seem like they intentionally try to run motorcycles off the road. They're not just driving. Oh, there's a motorcycle, let me just literally damn near try to kill them. Like, and the motorcycles drive like they can't die either. Like, they drive like they're indefensible. Invincible. Sorry, invincible. So getting a car here, I don't know how these cars don't have as many scratches and dents or just wrecks in general, but it would take some time to learn. You can't use your phone while you drive here. No, they don't. Trust me, they drive way worse here than they do in Dallas. In Dallas, they just drive fast, and they just drive fast. But here, yeah, they drive like they're driving in a video game or something. I get his live stream 30 more minutes. I just had to tap in. Did the goat slaughter shock you? No. It just looked bad because the goat wasn't really fully dead. He was just leaking out all his blood. James is back in Nairobi too, but I'm not really hanging out no more like that. I've been hanging out for 5 months straight, so I try to stay in the house like 5 days a week now. Before I was only staying in the house max once a week. I've seen enough. I've met a lot of women, so I'm at a point where I realize they're not going anywhere. They'll be here. I used to live in Grand Prairie too, but I'm not from there now. I lived in Grand Prairie for a year. Oh, my leg, that was 2.5 months ago, and it's still healing. Like, it probably has like another week. The scab just closed up, and like, yeah, It was deeper than I thought. That shit must have been damn near down to the bone. The average job someone moving there do to make money. Well, not a job. You would have to open up something. A lot of people come here to do real estate. A lot of people come here to use the labor because they like customer service. It's like when people book my consultations, I have Kenyans that answer the phone for me, that do the tours for me, that navigate the places for the people to stay, the personal driver. They're really good at that here. Service-based businesses. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Right here in Nairobi. Not the same financially, but I think I would still rather be here. Queen Troll, no, I can't bring the camera down. If you want to see my legs look like, go look at my Instagram. Got plenty of photos over there for you. Thank you for the super chats. How do white guys do there? Meal ticket. And I've said that many times. Not saying you can't find a Kenyan woman or somebody here that likes you. But generally speaking, they're going to be looking at you like a meal ticket. So you got to be ready for that. Ask Casey. I'm not done with Brazil. I would go back. I haven't considered doing that, but I would. Somebody says, what if the cash apps flows and all that, if stuff stops? The thing is, I think about stuff like that ahead of time. So I'm the type of person that pays my rent like 4 and 5 months in advance. So I don't worry about if my income stops. It's not going to stop, number one. But I don't worry about that because I pay shit far in advance. I do better dating in Kenya than Brazil, yes. Does the guy that works, that makes the shirts that you wear have an IG? It's NC, N as in no, C as in cloud, Nairobi. NC Nairobi. Are you thinking of, I have a business here already. But real estate towards the end of this year or next year. And the only reason I would do that is so when people come into town, I can have a place for them. They can stay at one of my places instead of me outsourcing. Do Kenyan women like mixed men? They think y'all are white too. There's only 2 races in Africa from what I've seen, white and black. Either you're white or you're black. Like if you're we had a Puerto Rican guy come out here. He's white. Here he's white. He might be Puerto Rican in the States. Here he's white. If you're from Thailand, when you come here, you're white. You're from China, when you come here, you're white. You from Brazil and you don't look like me, you're white. They don't do the whole in-between thing I notice here. I mean, they might know that you're Indian, but they gonna treat you like you white. What can you do for a 6-hour layover in Kenya? Depends on what time it is. Indigo, you asked about the cost of living. Yeah, I know I do answer that, but I'll tell you. My situation is I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for $750 a month. You don't have to pay that much, but I'm in a prime side of town. Okay, I'm near all the action. You can go way out to You can move out to Zambia if you want to. I'm not really Zambia. I'm just exaggerating how far it'll be from everything. And this 750 would turn to 350. But I mean, by the time you make it up in gas and the Uber rides, if you drive and you got a car, you might as well pay the 750. Cause yeah, it's gonna cost you. If you move out to Kiambu and you get a place like this for 350, for me to go to Kiambu from here, it cost me like 800 shillings. That's almost $7 one way. That's $14 there and back. And when you come to a new country, you're gonna be hanging out a lot. That's 140. Do that times 3. You might as well pay the 750. So my electricity for me is $80 a month, but I do a lot of shit. Like I have a washing machine. I'm doing a lot. I don't have to use that much electricity. So let's just round it off to about 830, right? Yeah, 830. My water bill was like $40 for 4 months. And I use way more water than most people. Internet is $30 about $30. And after groceries and everything, my gym membership, yeah, it's around $1,200 a month. And in Atlanta, that's a 1-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood, like I said before, where they hitting licks. There's not a lot of single mothers here. At least I don't run into a bunch of them. So $1,200 a month, but I probably spend close to $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Not anymore because I'm not hanging out as much. But when you start hanging out, yeah, you might spend $20 or $30 in one sitting, depending on where you go, which is nothing. Because when I was in Dallas, I remember I would go to, what was a place I would go to frequently? If I went to Addison over there off of the tollway, that little area where the damn, I don't even remember that city like that no more. What is that shit called? They got a movie theater. They got a Mexican restaurant, and you can walk around all the spots and all that. It's ghetto now. I would get 2 drinks and like an appetizer, and that shit would be like $60. For $20 here, there's a place down the street I could eat a full meal and have a drink. There's another place down the street from that where I can get 2 drinks for that same price. So I can get 2 drinks for $10 there and eat a full meal, and the meal will probably be like $7. So it's cheap to eat out, and that's if you're drinking alcohol. If you're not drinking alcohol, you can sit down in most places and eat for less than $10. Vidora, that's what I'm talking about. Vidora is a Mexican restaurant. And at Addison Circle, that's what I'm talking about. Vidora is a restaurant, and across from it is what's the little club with the rooftop, and they got a restaurant at the bottom. That's right across the street from Vidora. It's called I don't know, but fuck all that shit. I hate that shit. Yeah, if you're paying $1,800 a month in rent alone, like, yeah, you won't be doing a whole lot when you get here, but you'll be well above surviving. Like, if you got a 1-bedroom here, 1 bathroom for $500, like this building I'm at right now, they have a 1-bedroom, 1 bath for $500. About $530. Let's say $500. After utilities and everything, that's like $600. After groceries, that's like $800, maybe $9. Yeah, okay, so then you got another $900 to hang out. And depending on how much, I mean, I'm 25, so I hang out a lot. But, I mean, if you're 45, maybe you might be, well, I don't know about you 45-year-olds today. Y'all still think y'all 20. But if you're 45, maybe you might hang out once a week. So you could live completely off of $1,800 if you live in that lifestyle. Stir, that's what I'm talking about, stir, yeah. Yeah, I'm 25. I'll be 26 on May 16th. Everybody thinks I'm 32. Well, the reason I said that was because I know some 40. I've met some women in their 40s, not here, not here. I've met some women in their 40s in the States. They might as well have been 18. I mean, they was getting more lit than I was, kicking it more than I was, and I'm like, damn, what happened for you to be doing that? Yeah, I was 23 when I first started getting on YouTube. Yeah, I don't smoke. I don't smoke Cuban cigars. This one was like $17, I think. Whatever 1,800 shillings is, it was like $17 or something like that. $15. Yeah, they be 45 thinking they 20. Usually the women in Kenya, like it's rare that you go out and you like usually when you go out here it's usually young women hanging out. Like under 35. They got some cougars here too, but it's not as common. Oh, thank you, Chewy. He said a lot of drunk old sisters in the States. Yeah, there's plenty of them. The gym I go to, there's plenty of women that go there, but that go there. But usually going to the gym here, you're not like if you've been to Brazil and you go, you know if you go to Brazil, it's like 80% of the gym is women, and they're always in there. And like most women you meet in Brazil or in Latin America go to the gym. Um, Here, that's not the case. Now the ones that do go to the gym are like super fine, but I mean they're born right out of the box, just looking great. So they don't need to go, but when they do go, they be amazing. He said life expectancy in Kenya is 45. No. If you want to connect, you got to go to, you got to book a consultation with me. I got two group chats now. I got a main group chat. It's kind of went downhill because all we're talking about is kicking it, kicking it, just that, kicking it. And I'm starting to kick it less. So I created a separate group chat for people that want to actually live and like they're trying to figure out how can they buy stuff or open a business here. Like I think the next time I get paid, I might buy one of those Matatu trucks. That's been one of my ideas that I've thought about because they seem to always be in operation. How did I vote? I didn't vote. I've never voted in my life. We can debate that. I just never felt the need to. I've never voted. My family loves that I live in Kenya because they know I'm happy here. I don't think my family liked it too much when I came back because not that they didn't want to see me. I think it's just because my energy was so off because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there before I left the country. Like before I ever decided to go to Brazil the first time, I didn't want to be where I was at. Yeah, I'll do my research on that Brahma Brian. He says a no-go zone. I'll do some. Oh, okay. I mean, if y'all are saying it, I mean, it makes sense. I could see how that's a money laundering business. I could see how. My family is planning on coming out here to see me. They said that, but that whole you remember whenever they said that black Americans get visa free access to Kenya? That was bullshit. Like that. I mean, that that was like last year, early last year. I think they said that, and like yeah, that has. I still had to pay. No, that's bullshit. I actually just finished smoking a Bongani cigar, and that's my favorite cigar to smoke. Those Bongani cigars get me in the right zone. The Mozambique tobacco is like the tobacco that relaxes me the most. I could actually talk a lot of shit if I smoke one of those. There's plenty of Chinese people here. The Chinese built this building I'm staying in, and probably every other building that's in the city. It seemed like a lot more Americans need to come open up a business here because the only people, I'm not saying Americans don't own businesses here, but the only people I really see that own businesses in Nairobi is Indians and Chinese people. Like it seems like they own more than the native Kenyans here. If you know, the Indians were sent to like Uganda and East Africa to be like a buffer race in between white and black. So it makes sense why that is. They got a little more favoritism. I'm not saying Kenyans don't own business. I'm just, if you've been here, you'll see a lot of the businesses are a lot of these buildings seem to be built by Chinese people. When I was looking for my apartment, I went to like 6 different apartment complexes, and every single one of them had a Chinese person that owned the building. Most buildings are owned by Kenyans themselves. Well, you know those Indians got Kenyan, they got Kenyan citizenship too, so they're technically Kenyan. I'm not talking about little mom and pop shops or mid. I'm talking like if you go to a CJ's, if you go to a restaurant in Village Market, or if you go to the restaurants in Sarah, if you look at the new apartment buildings, if you look at the Trademark Hotel, if you look at the Skynets, like the really big places here, it doesn't seem like the locals. It seems like the Indians and the Chinese. Yeah, I seen what was it, Rick Ross and Snoop Dogg at Trump's inauguration. I seen that. I know for a fact about 3 or 4 years ago when Biden was in office, I seen Snoop talking shit about Trump. Now he's at his inauguration. Can't make this shit up. Naman Mangus, thank you for the $2 super chat. You'll be here in December. I'll still be here. I mean, I probably would have traveled somewhere else for a month or so by then, but maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I'm telling you, I really don't have a reason to leave at all. I mean, I guess. I mean, you say that the black Kenyans. I mean, it would make sense for most uh, buildings, most businesses to be owned by Kenyans because we're in Kenya. I'm just saying, every time I go somewhere, I start thinking like, damn, like it seemed like they taking over shit. Yeah, if Trump invites me, I'll go over there. I'll take his check. He wouldn't invite me though because I say too much stuff that's not so positive about America for him to invite me. Or he might be like, see what Austin Holloman said, we got to make the country great again. We got to get rid of all these immigrants. You know how he talks with his hands like this. Bula Kalisu, thank you for the dollar super chat. Do I think playing? No, absolutely not. Because here's the thing. If I had travel fatigue and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop traveling for a bit. I could have stayed in Turkey. I could have went back to Paraguay. I could have went back to Brazil. I could have went back to Peru. I could have went back to Cali, Colombia. But like I said months ago, this is the place where I deal with the least amount of bullshit and I'm the most welcome and it's affordable. Yes, I am considering permanent residency because I have no plans to go nowhere else. What have I found has been the biggest regret someone that moved out here has had? Dealing with prostitutes. Yeah, I'll go top off the wine. Let me come right back. Yeah, the South American IRL. So let's talk about that. The South American IRLs were educational about the dating scene, and um, you got to learn about what South America was like in real time. But the difference is here in Kenya, and I don't think this is most Africans. I just noticed this here in Kenya. Like they like when you pull out a camera, like people turn into kryptonite. Like it's like they people be ducking and doing all that. And I'm like, yo, fucking relax. Like you're not the topic of my video. I'm just walking through. That's why I keep getting all these threats. I told you guys I was at Village Market. Queen Troll, thank you for the $3 super chat. I was in Village Market. Yeah, Kenya has they have prostitutes here too. Like they're literally on like the street signs. They have like damn near like billboards. And I'm only saying that because you're gonna see it when you get here. It's not a secret. Um, but now they don't advertise it as that. It says massages, but it's got a girl like looking like in this tight dress and she got her ass as the main focus and a smile and I'm like, yeah, that's more than a massage. But with the IRLs in Latin America, you got to see. But here, like, oh, that's what I was saying. When I was in Village Market, I remember I was interviewing Ronald, and I already said this in the video. I was interviewing Ronald, and the waitress walks up, and she just grabs the. She voluntarily walked in front of the camera. She didn't. She could have went the other side. She knew we were recording. It was very obvious. She grabs the plate, then walks away. Then I get a message threatening to sue because I didn't ask for consent. And I'm like, I don't even know who the hell you are. So I doubt you were ever the subject of my video. I was like, what video? I went to go look at the video. She must have been in the video for like 2 seconds. And she wants me to remove the whole video because she spent 2 seconds in it. No, thank you. This YouTube is not a hobby. Like, this is like my career. Like, I don't do this shit for fun. That's no different than going to a restaurant and saying, hey, I asked for salad and you brought me a hamburger. You messed up my order. You need to shut down the entire restaurant. No, that's not how that works. Cheers. Thank you for the $5 £5 super chat, or €5, whatever it is, super chat Flex Felix. Yeah, they be in the video for like 2 or 3 seconds. And here's the thing, if you message me and you say, hey, Austin, can you take me out the video? I'll do it. But the minute you come front first being an asshole, like, if you don't take it down, I'm going to get my lawyer. I'm going to call my lawyer and say, hey, look at this. Can they really sue me for that? If he says no, I'm going to be an asshole and just not take it down. I could do it, but since you decided to threaten me, I'm not going to do it. But if you just say, hey, can you please take me out the video? Okay, I can do that. YouTube literally has a feature where it allows you to select. It'll analyze the whole video and it'll pull up everybody's face that was in the video. And you can go through and select every face and click blur, and it'll blur their face out. So it takes no effort for me to take you out the video. No, most of the girls in clubs in Nairobi are not prostitutes, no. I don't even hang in places like that. Now, there's a couple places in Westlands that, like if you're, yeah, there's a couple places, like, you can go to, and there's a lot of bad chicks, and you can talk to them, but, like, they go up there looking for white guys. Like, if you go to a place like that, yeah. But most places I go to, I'm not getting hit with no price. It's either she like me or not. It's not about her trying to sell herself. Sell a service. Who's more wholesome, your women, TZ women or Kenyan women? We could say women in TZ are a little more wholesome per se, and I just say that because they don't kick it as much. Like, yes, you can go see my vlogs, they do kick it, but it's not like here. Like, here is like, this city is like a party city. And I wouldn't associate partying with being wholesome, so that's why I say that. The women in Tanzania are a little more reserved, but they can be a little too reserved sometimes, so fuck that. Which visa class are you considering for residence? It would definitely have to be a work visa. I don't require, the easiest one to get is a retirement, but I'm not old enough for that, so you gotta be at least 35. Yeah, if you go to Westlands or CBD, you will run into a lot of prostitutes. I don't want to say the names of the places, but like, if you go to Nairobi Street Kitchen, you won't run into that as much. That's literally just a street kitchen that you go to. That's a vibe. But Yeah, you're more likely to run into somebody that works at the UN there than you run into a prostitute. Too reserved is wifey material. Well, here's the thing. You're right about that, right? Like I have a reserved chick that I've been seeing uh, here for a minute here in Nairobi, and she wouldn't give me a kiss on the first day, which is uncommon. I was like, okay, well, she must not get out much then. But she still had conversation, and she was still holding my hand. I've been some places where some places in the world, where women are so reserved, and you're like, I don't even know if this motherfucker likes me. Like, I know you're traditional or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but damn, at least show me some sort of like interest. Shit, I can't deal with that. I need some entertainment too. Shit. So I have a different experience in Mombasa. Most guys that I know that went to Mombasa said they ran into a bunch of, like, the girls that you see out were like working as prostitutes, and if they weren't, you had to talk to like a waitress or the grocery store clerk there, because they were not doing that. But the other girls that are just out and about, yeah. Versus here, the girls that are out and about here have a regular job, and they can like, yeah, you don't have to worry about them being a prostitute in Nairobi. Like, the thing is, in my group chat, I notice a lot of guys, they'll complain about that. Like, this girl's asking me for money. But it's usually guys that have been in the country for less than a month. Usually after about a month, you start to figure out where to not go. And usually the guys that are complaining about the women being prostitutes are guys that are older than my dad or my dad's age. My dad is 47. So I think generally worldwide, and this is something Kevin Samuels didn't talk about, or the gurus don't talk about. It's like, yeah, you can wait till you're 35 to get all this money, but then when you got that money, that's literally all the chicks want. So then that's all they fucking ask you for is money. So you have to do like extensive searching to find a chick that's not just looking at you like, oh, because they look at me and they think I don't have shit. They look at me and they're like, oh, like he's 25. So they don't never ask me for money. They have before, but it's not common for me, which is fine. I mean, they could think I don't have nothing. That's, I mean, shit, saving me money, but of course, if you're the 1%, if you're the guy that's 55 years old and you have a body like mine and your swag is still real tight, then yeah, you probably won't run into those issues. But most older men are not like that. We got a $20 super chat from Ali E. You are truly free, man. Salute. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yes, I feel free. Salute, Austin. Keep it 100. Please tell us what cities in Africa have the most attractive females in small area proximity, no matter if it's pay for play or not. That's Nairobi, Uganda, Kampala, Uganda, Tanzania. But Bobby went to Tanzania recently. He said it's not like that anymore. Rwanda too, Kigali, Rwanda, they're just all in the house. Like, if you go to Kigali, you're gonna have to get a dating app. There's no women at the grocery store. They not walking down the street. They not at the restaurants. I was there for 10 days, and I think only 2 places I went to, and it was still like 40% of the crowd was women, 60% was men, which is bullshit. They're fine, but it doesn't matter. You can't find them. Now, Troy's scenario is different. I think Troy doesn't get begged for money. I mean, at least based off what I don't think women are begging him for money. He doesn't complain about that to me. He's also been here like fucking 12 years though. If you got $20,000 saved, I would come here and get a 1 bedroom for $500 a month and pay the entire year up front, which is $6,000, right? $6,000. And I would spend like 9,000 of that paying bills for 1 year in advance. And then you need to figure out how you gonna get that 10 grand back. Because if you don't have a job, I mean, you can live off the other 10 grand. You ain't gonna be doing a whole lot. Like, I think the way how I hang out, the way how I hung out the first 3 months here, if I did that for a year straight, I think I would spend 50 grand hanging out and eating out and shit like that. You don't have to do that, but yeah, you can survive off of 10 grand, but you finna be in the house the majority, like 70%, 80% of the time. That's the hardest part, is getting remote income. That's the hardest part, is getting remote income. That's something you need to figure out. I wish I could help people, but I can't. I mean, if you send me referrals, I'll pay you. But, I mean, I don't know. You have to figure that out. Now, if you could make $70,000 a year and come here, what's that divided by 12? That's a little over $5,000 a month. A little over $5,000 a month. If you got $5,000 a month coming in here, you can show your ass every month. Now you can run out of money every month. Like you can definitely spend 10 grand a month in 1 month here, because I've done that plenty of times. But you don't have to do that. Like that's doing a lot, spending that much money. What's my thoughts on South Africa? No rush to get there. Thank you for the super chat. I would go, but I've dated women from South Africa. They were like westernized. They weren't as bad as the American chicks, but like it was enough stuff for me to like proceed with caution dealing with them. There's violence there. It's cheap. For what I've seen, it's pretty cheap, but there's violence there. You know, then they got the whole colored, black, African. They got black, colored, and African there. What the fuck is that? Another identity crisis is what I call that. I don't deal with identity crisis. I think there's a golf course near me, but there's one 15 minutes from where I'm at. How do you make money to afford your lifestyle? I get paid from YouTube. In my opinion, for residents, buy investment property to tap in. I got something. I said something about that earlier in the video. I don't think it's as simple as that. But I'm still going to do my residency in Paraguay, just because that is a place that you can get citizenship for very cheap. You just got to be willing to wait like 7 years for the whole process, but you can get citizenship. And it's just good to have multiple residencies and citizenships. It's just good. It's always good to have another, like a South American passport, an African passport, American passport, and like a European passport. If you could have four, it could make you unstoppable. Yeah, if you want to be a content creator to generate remote income, you're not like I was literally like a miracle. Like my first video I put up went viral, and then I just kept putting into the momentum I had built, and it just never went away. Uh, Most people don't have it. Like here's what you got. The way how my YouTube blew up was because I was talking a lot of shit. Like and I've stayed in trouble from talking. Like I'm always in some shit. It seems like. Yeah, I don't care. I'm built for that. I don't give a damn. But yeah, some of y'all tiptoe too much around your words, or you don't know what to say to make a sound bite to get attention. Cybersecurity jobs is remote income. Yes, I don't know how easy it is to get one of those though. They said invite Bad Boy Austin. So I did an interview with Kiss, but I think they didn't invite me again because I was too quiet. Um, I can talk a lot, but when I get in a group setting, I don't say anything. That's on camera and off camera. Like if you invite me out, like I'm more likely to listen before I just sit there and talk. Nothing wrong with talking. It's just that's just how I've always been that way, where I just sit there and I just listen to what everybody else saying. And if you don't speak to me, then and I don't overtalk people either. Yeah, I do better on one-on-one interviews. If you have the right questions and you invite me one-on-one, I will show my ass in the interview. I've done it many times. But if you put me like if you guys have ever seen me on panels, you know I don't really say shit. Like I'm just sitting there listening. What are my thoughts on Zambia? I don't think I'll be back over there. I went for 10 days. It was like Lusaka, Zambia. It was like a huge suburb. And I say that because it seemed like they had like two skyscrapers. Versus if you look at the view I just showed y'all, there's like 15, 20 right here. This is a city. Lusaka was a city, but it looked like a suburb. So when I wanted to go to the grocery store, I had to walk a long distance or I had to catch a ride. Using the rideshare service out there was a headache. The food was good. The weather was good. I didn't really see any beautiful women out there. So it was just like, yeah, like how many pluses are making me want to stay here? Why do they call me bad boy? Because I talk a lot of shit. I know. I get that from my mom and my dad, but especially my mom. If you see her YouTube channel, you can, I don't know if she does it on YouTube, but she talks a lot of shit. Somebody said your mama is funny. Yeah, I know. She's very funny, isn't she? Somebody asked how much are my consultations. My consultations are $300. If you don't have $300, you can call. You can get a shorter time span, but you got to click the link. Go to theaustinholloman.com and click book an appointment now or book now, whatever it says, or you can go to my YouTube bio or my Instagram bio and you can book from there. My mom does do live streams. She's been wanting me to do a cooking live stream with her. I have put on weight since I got out here. I looked at a picture of myself when I got out here in August, and I looked at myself now, and I definitely, my face is definitely bigger. If someone's got multiple passports, they're good. Like, for example, if I had a Paraguayan passport, a Kenyan passport, a EU passport, let's say from Portugal, and I had maybe one from like Singapore, I would renounce my U.S. citizenship because the you would have too much flexibility because when you have a U.S. passport too, you always have to file taxes. I think Kenya's like that too. Like you could be anywhere in the world as a Kenyan, and I think they still tax you too. I think so. Don't quote me on that. I think so. But the United States still taxes you. I mean, the benefit is if your profit is less than like $120,000, you're tax free. But if you want to make a lot of money, there's going to be an issue, just like it would be in the States. What is my mom's YouTube? Actually, I don't even know it by heart, but I know it's YANNIA Brooks. I heard Australia and France are doing worldwide taxing too. Like you could be from France and living in America, and France will still tax you on the money that you make in America. But I've educated myself on taxes back when I was 20, so I've learned to pay little to no tax forever. Like I've had years where I've made 125,000 and I paid like $80 in tax. You just have to educate yourself, and it's not illegal. Oh, thank you. I do look healthy. Thank you. Now the tax that they have on foreigners here in Kenya, I've seen some taxes are like 35, 45%. So you would definitely have to be writing a lot of shit off here, cause like that's high. That means if you make $100,000, you would have to pay $35,000 to $45,000 in tax, which is nuts. I don't think it's that far off in the States either, though. If you make $100,000 in net, what would you pay? Yeah, like for example, the year 2024, I'm exempt from tax because I only spent like 20 days in the United States, and you have to spend a little more. I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks that you have to spend in the States in total. It's the exact number of days, but I didn't cross that, so I wouldn't have to pay tax because my profit was not 120,000. That would be a fucking blessing. Yeah, so 24,000. Yeah. But in Texas, we don't have a state income tax, so I only had to file federal taxes. You know, they tried to call me to jury duty in Texas, and I told them like, "Hey, I've been living out of the country for 2.5 years at the time, 2.5 years now." And they were like, "We're denying that. You still need to come into jury duty." I said, "These motherfuckers are gonna have to put a warrant out on my arrest because I'm not gonna spend $2,500 on a damn plane ticket to go sit in a jury for one day and come back." Yeah, right. So I called them and I showed them my lease here, and then they took it away though. I wasn't gonna go anyway. I'm not going back to the States for no damn jury duty. Thank you, Terrence Watkins. Will you ever get multiple passports? Yes. You can travel anywhere with a Kenyan passport as long as you meet the visa requirements, which are mostly income related. The only thing is, I would, for that reason, it's good to have a South American, like a Paraguayan passport. You can travel most places. Like when Africans try to travel places, they give them a hard time. Like they got to show bank statements and all this other shit, and then they'll still get denied. Like it's really hard for Africans to travel around the world. But if you have a South American passport, I would get an African passport to travel around Africa, not to travel around the world. Like if you got a Kenyan passport, you can go most places in Africa, from my understanding, with no problem. But yeah, try going to the United States with a Kenyan passport. It's either Singapore or Japan has the best passport. But yeah, that's why I said one Asian passport. But yeah, in that scenario, I would keep an American passport because it's like I didn't realize how easy it was to travel as an American until like I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm a. You remember when I was like, oh, I'm ready to leave Cartagena, Colombia. It's too dangerous. Where should I go next? Like I can literally, as an American, you can literally be like, where can I go next? There's so many places that you can just fly right into with no visa. But yeah, when I started hanging around other people that were non-Americans and they're like, oh, well, I have to apply it. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. I had a homeboy that went to I had a homeboy that went to Nigeria and bought a Nigerian passport. And I was thinking, like, what was the point of that? They can't even travel around Africa easily. Like, look up how many countries do not allow Nigerians to travel. Like, there's many countries in Africa that won't even let Nigerians just fly right in. So it's useless getting a that would be an inconvenience to have a Nigerian passport. Yeah, I think it's because they have a bad reputation. Like they have a reputation for like the whole scammer thing, and Africans in general usually have tough passports to deal with. But like having a Nigerian passport is like damn. Yeah, now if you want to get in Nigeria, yeah, because I think as an American you got to have a visa to go to Nigeria. So I guess if you want to go to Nigeria, yeah. The easiest places to get a passport is like Japan, Singapore. I even think a Malaysian passport is good. Paraguay, Brazil, even a Nicaraguan passport is good. American, Canadian, and a European passport. But outside of that, you're gonna have a lot of difficulties. You'd be better off getting like a Ghanaian passport than a Nigerian. Like for example, I remember I told you guys one time I got stuck up by two police officers, two military police officers in Brazil, and I had my ID from Texas, and they were like, "Okay, just go." I don't think a Nigerian passport would have had that. It maybe, but I don't think they would have had that same like, "Okay, just go." And Australian too, yeah. You saying South Africa or South American, Mangus Anthony? Put a one in the chat if you hope Trump takes back over the Panama Canal, connect Canada and Greenland. Put a one in the chat if you want to see that happen. I'm not even in America, but I'd like to see if he can pull that off. And if he would do that, I might move back. I bullshit. I wouldn't move back, but I'd be proud. Yeah, getting arrested in Somalia for trying to enter is crazy. Cause I'm under the impression that they don't even have a government there. I'm not saying they don't. It's just the way how they describe it. It comes off like there's no government. Thank you, Cornell. I've been taking my pre-workout and my creatine every day. I've been eating a lot. And more than ever, I'm happy. So that's always going to put weight on you. No, I won't be going to Somalia. Maybe Somaliland, but even Muslim countries are just I don't know. It's the culture shock is so different. Like Turkey and somewhat Tanzania. Somewhat. Not really, but somewhat. I've already been to 4 cities in Kenya. I've been to Nakuru, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kiambu, which kind of counts as Nairobi. And I went to some city way out east by the border. How much does it cost to get multiple passports? It depends on where you're going. If you want a Turkish passport, it's $400,000. There's some countries in Europe where it's literally you have to invest $800,000 to get instant citizenship. Otherwise, you got to go live in those places, which means you have to apply for residency and you got to be there. Temporary, then permanent residency. And then you got to learn the language. I met an Indian guy here. He said one of his friends went to Eritrea, and they're like the North Korea of Africa. They went to Eritrea, and they were so paranoid about him being like a spy. They wanted to get in his phone, and he wouldn't open his phone, so they crushed his hand. Like, they broke his fucking hand. I don't know if they did it with a hammer, but they said like they fucked his hand up to get into his phone. Like, they tortured him basically. No, but I've heard of Tattoo City. This is called a cigar pick. It's like a toothpick. It's metal, so when it gets short, because otherwise it gets really hot and you can't really hold it. I have this tool that has this, and then it has the other piece that they call a draw punch that you stick in there to loosen the cigar to make it puff easier. You know, so I did some research today. Do you know Madagascar has a 70% poverty rate? 70% of the people in Madagascar are in poverty. $20,000 in Kenya spends like $100,000. The man, you asked the question more than you would imagine. Rwanda women are definitely wifey, but they don't like passport bros. I have to disagree with you. I don't know. I guess he had something in his phone that was worth his hand. They would have got my shit. They wouldn't have had to have tortured me. Well, here's the thing about places like North Korea. What's the one? Uzbekistan, North Korea, Uzbekistan, Eritrea. Places like that. I just don't have time to be somewhere where the laws are so strict. You wipe your nose with a paper towel and find out that shit was against the law. Now you're doing 15 years in prison. Yeah, I'm good on all that shit. I don't have time for that. Because North Korea is like that. They got so many laws that I think women can't wear jeans there. Like, and they're not Muslim. Like, they got so many laws in those places. It's like, no. So now the sun has went down and the cool air is starting to kick in. I love you too, Chrissy. Yeah, the girls in Eritrea are absolutely beautiful. I've seen them. But yeah, I'll have to catch them in Nairobi or something. I'm not going over there for right now. At least not right now. I got other shit to do. Would you do a live stream with the Saint the Sinner? I've heard of him. What would you want us to talk about? Thank you for the super chat. Y'all seen what happened to the white guy that went to North Korea back in 2015? And they said he ripped a poster off the wall, and he didn't. And he got sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. And I think it was like 6 or 9 months later, they sent him back dead. They sent him back to Cincinnati dead. I don't have time for shit like that. Like, those countries, you never know what you're doing wrong. I've heard about Nosy B, Madagascar is a good spot. I don't think the capital is that good of a spot, but I've heard Nosy B is a good spot. It's nice beaches. I could say a lot more, but I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, he went back brain dead, and then he died shortly after that. They said they got him on camera, but if you watch the video, even the people that were reviewing the video were saying, like, the quality of the video couldn't actually prove that was him. But you're in North Korea, like, they don't give a damn about proving that. If they say you did it, you did it. Like, that's a place where, like, hey, like, if you get convicted, like, you're not beating a case over there. You're out. That's it. I think you guys could have a great talk on international travel and dating. I'm not sure. I've never watched his videos. I've heard of him. I know who he is. I think I would know him if I seen him, but I don't know enough about him to respond to that. But you guys, the cigar is almost done. Fuck it, I'll stay on a little longer. Hold on, let me turn this light. No, I think Somalis that have fled Somalia should stay here. I met this one chick. She told me she works with the refugees in the UN. Lonzo World, thank you for the $20 super chat. She was telling me there was a Somalian girl that they were like putting on a heavy case, and she fled Somalia because the Al Shabaab group wanted to marry her, so they murdered her husband. That's a legitimate reason. So whenever there's a lot of Somalian refugees here, you guys have seen the movie Black Hawk Down. Like that stuff is real there. What would you say is the key to meeting the best women, like top tier beautiful women that aren't gold diggers? Stay out of like so. I go to clubs here and there now, but I hate it. The music is way too fucking loud, and the women up there are what we call slay queens. And those women usually, not all of them, but about 50-60% of the women that you see at the clubs here is all they do is fucking club. Like they wake up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, eat, and then go back to the club. Okay, that's cool as a tourist when you first get here, but after a while, because those are the same chicks that are like, hey, come over, I'm a cook, like, and they'll come over and hang out. And then they're like, hey, well, let's take shots. I'm like, yeah, I drink. But goddamn, I ain't trying to be fucked up all the time. They be fucked up all the time. I mean, that's the girls that you meet at clubs here, that's literally all they do is club. So I usually hang out during the daytime. I'll go to daytime spots, like a horse racing event, or a rooftop, or a street kitchen or something like this, something that's daytime. And the girls that you meet there, like usually around 8 o'clock, they go home. Or you might catch them there on a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And then they gotta go to work, and they usually have a car. But the ones you meet at the club, no. Like if you want to get begged for money, like that's where you will go. There is some westernization here in Nairobi. It's nothing to complain about, but in about 10 years, it'll be something to complain about if they don't get it under control. In 10 years, it will be. No time soon, but eventually. Best woman, Kenyan, Ugandan, or Tanzanian? Well, I live in Kenya, so actions speak louder than words. I think you get more of an all-in-one. Like you can find good girls here, you can find club girls here. Everybody's fine. They all look good. They got conversation, they got personality. You get an all-in-one when you're dating here. Kind of like Brazil, but they speak English. And there's less feminism here. Like, the longer I stayed in Brazil, the more chicks I ran into that was delusional. Oh, let me go get my chapstick, my damn lips. I need some fucking water. Ain't nothing to play about having them white lips. Water is the only thing. That's water and food. Do some TV interviews. I did one interview with this. It was a channel. I think they had like 2 million subscribers. They came over here to my house and did the interview. They interviewed Bobby and I separately though, and they put it together as like one collage about 2 Black Americans that wanted to come live in Kenya, and I think the video got like 177,000 views right now. I think I checked 2 or 3 days ago. So, and I got a lot of heat from, not heat. Like, I mean, I got a lot of, like, I got some real publicity over there. Like, after I did that interview, Bobby and I would walk into a room, and now the clout I have out here is fucking crazy. Let's talk about that. If Bobby and I go to a restaurant, there's been several, maybe 7 or 8 times we walk into this place down the street from where I stay. Nice spot. I love going there. I go there all the time. We walk in, and literally, I'm not bullshitting, every person in that damn restaurant turned around like this and was pointing. Somebody messaged me like, I seen you just walked into so-and-so. I'm like, damn. It's like that? You talking about an ego boost. You can't tell me shit. Want a consultation because I'm coming out there this year, need to lay the land and want maybe to get laced out there. Great content, very informative. Thank you very much. Yeah, like I said, go to austinholloman.com and click the book an appointment. Shit. Somebody said I'm smoking a roach. Yeah, at this point it is a roach. It's that's what this little device is for, so you can hold it. Cause I wouldn't be able to really hold it in my hand. Sorry if you smoke blunts, you can't do the same thing. He said, look like you beat women. I ain't gonna lie to you. No, I don't even fool women that take me there. I don't even fool women that take me to that point of like getting that upset. I don't even get that upset with dudes. Like if you ever see me hit somebody, I always say this: you should automatically take my side because I don't even get upset. Like I'm such a diplomat. Well, somebody said, take you there. Shouldn't you just not do it? Everybody has a point, right? If I take you to prison and you're not a fighter, you're in an environment where at some point, it doesn't matter how diplomatic you are, you will fight. And there's some men and women, not just women, men and women that you can hang around that are just so combative or just so rude where eventually you will snap. So I told you guys many times, I've seen a lot of domestic violence, a lot, in between my parents growing up. So the first time I run into a combative woman, I scratch her right off the list because I don't even want nobody to even take, because I've seen how that shit goes. It's nothing pretty about it. So I don't even want to be around nobody like that. So like and it happens sometimes here in Kenya. It's not bad enough to complain about it, but sometimes I run into women here, and I have to ask them like, when I ask them, I'll tell them like, hey, we disagreeing on a lot of shit, and they be like, yeah, like, should we agree on everything? No, you're allowed to have a mind of your own, but I'm not gonna be trying to sleep with nobody or date nobody that every time I see you, I gotta fucking debate or argue. I think that's common sense. So if we disagree on too much, we're just not a match. Don't worry, there's enough women in Nairobi for me to meet, and there's enough men in Nairobi for you to meet. Nice knowing you. Get the hell out of my face. Because sometimes it's really not a dude. Sometimes you can just run into women that just like to fucking argue. And that's okay. If that's who you are, you like to argue, that's cool. I'm just not going to fuck with you. Yeah, I'm about to burn my lips here in a minute. You can see it's at the very edge. Well, the reason why I say it's okay is because it's okay. Like, if I meet a woman that dresses too provocative, I'm like, hey, like, I'll tell them, like, hey, like, you know, we can talk, you cool, but, like, the way how you dress is not going to cut it for me. If they don't want to do it, that's okay. You can walk down the street in a bikini. I'm just not going to fuck with you. Continue to be yourself. If I'm dating somebody, they need to at least agree with like 70 to 80% of what I say. Anything other than that, we have too much friction to even get along. I have a yeah, I was spitting, yeah. I have dark chocolate. I actually just bought some today, so I have it. Are there foreigners in my apartment complex? Yeah. There's a lot of Chinese people that live in my apartments. A lot. They're either Kenyan or they're Chinese, and I met like 3 or 4 Americans that live here. Yeah, I'm spitting on the green carpet. It's okay. Once it dries, nobody will ever know what's happening. I done spilled chocolate on this carpet, this turf. I done spilled bread today, but the birds will come fly up here and eat it. Yeah, I had one chick I had 2 chicks I was dealing with out here, and I was on the phone with one of them while Bobby was around, and he was kind of just looking like I'm like, yeah, like she's literally debating everything I'm saying, like debating everything. Like I had a subscriber here in Kenya one time. I'm doing a photo shoot, and I'm literally frozen like a statue, because obviously I'm taking a photo and there's a camera taking a photo of me. I'm frozen like a statue. And the guy walks up to shake my hand. I'm like, hey, hold on one second. Hey, nice to meet you. Hold on one second. I'm gonna come talk to you in just a second. Let me finish this real quick. And he didn't walk away. Yeah, I'll watch your video. I'm like, look, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So he wouldn't walk away, and I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, like if they were shooting a new Transformers movie and you saw Dwayne Johnson, are you gonna jump in front of the camera and be like, hey, I'm your biggest fan? You know, we gotta have some sort of, like, I was polite, like, just hold on 1 second. And she's like, well, they're your fans. You're what did she say? Some stupid ass shit too. She said, you're no, it was 3 chicks that did this. She said your photographer should have had a barrier set up. I said, really? So you wanted him to bring a fence to a photo shoot? Really? That's asking for a lot. How about we just hold on 1 second? Like, just hold on I'm coming to talk to you. I talk to all my fans. I take pictures with them. Just hold on 1 second. I'm in the middle of a photo shoot. Just 1 second. Now, if you see me walking through the mall or something, and you stop me, like, I'll sit there, I'll talk to you. I will. But in the middle of a photo shoot, like, give me 1 second. I was on a date with this one chick, and she kept disagreeing. This is a few months ago. She kept disagreeing. And so I asked her, I said, do you like me? Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be hanging out with you. I said, but if somebody was sitting behind us and they were listening to us conversate, they would think we're enemies. Well, we don't have to agree on everything. Yeah, but you're disagreeing on too much. Are there any health issues that come with smoking cigars? I've smoked literally over 2,000 cigars, probably even 3,000 at this point. If you guys have been watching me long enough, you guys know I smoke a lot of cigars. I mean, I usually only smoke one a day now, but before I was smoking like 5. You see, I'm still in shape. I can still run on a treadmill full speed without running out of breath. It doesn't do the same thing. The only thing is if you smoke them, the reason I went from smoking 5 to 1, number 1 is because that shit is expensive to smoke 5, depending on where you at. Number 2 is it relaxes you too much. So if you're not, like right now I'm drinking wine. If you drink alcohol while you smoke, it balances it out. But if you just walk around smoking a Maduro all day, like you'll be just fried. Like you won't even be wanting to say nothing. And for me, it kind of boosts my anxiety too if I smoke too much. And then the same girl that I had to say, like, hey, if we're enemies, I remember one time we got into a disagreement. When I disagree with anybody, men and women, I don't raise my voice. I allow you to talk. I'm talking like I would right now. But when I said something that she didn't like, she was, like, and I'm like, it's not that you're a woman, but like if a man was yelling over me like that, we would end up fighting. It's not that you're a woman, it's just rude to do that in general to people. Like you don't do that unless if you want a serious issue. So that was the end of that story. Like I said, you deal with the same bullshit worldwide. It's just what phase are you in? Like in Kenya, you'll run into it here and there. In America, you just commit suicide. You're just running into it constantly. Just constantly disagreeing with every chick you meet. Is some sort of argument. It's just constant. For every 10 chicks you meet, it's like 8 of them are just and fucking probably 9 are just disagreeing with you on every fucking thing. Versus here in Kenya, it's like 1 out of 10. For every 10 chicks you meet, 1 might be combative. Which is, that feels kind of natural, where you just say, oh, she's just combative. Versus in America, you're like, okay, this society is just kind of combative. I'll stay on if you guys send another $20 super chat. Otherwise, I'm about to go inside and watch a movie. I give you 60 seconds. Well, I have been on here almost 2 hours. After 60 seconds is up, I'll be on here 2 hours. You can find these Kenyan bracelets anywhere. This one, everybody, even Kenyans ask me where did I get it at. I had a friend give this to me. They're not coming. I would put my M-Pesa number, but I don't need y'all calling me. No, I've seen African women be disrespectful towards white men. They do that in the form of cheating on them. They do that in the form of upselling them on everything. A white man has a completely different experience in Africa. Just like in Latin America, a black man, you're a niche. Not all the women in Latin America fuck with black men, but there's, I would say maybe 30 or 40%. I think white men in here got like 15% of the women date white men. And then you will see it when they're with, and I'm not trying to disrespect white guys, I'm just saying what I see. There's nothing disrespectful about that. They will literally be with a white guy holding his hand looking at you. and then you talk to a white guy about his experience, and all he's talking about is women asking him for money. And then you talk to a black guy, and they're like, it happens, but it's not like the white guy where that shit is just constant. They're trying to get their land back, is what I call it. That's the analogy. Like, it's like they're trying to get something back, trying to get their land back. Ask Casey. You think I'm making this up? Ask Casey. Ask Casey what he thinks about the women in Nairobi. He's not gonna have the same review. Reparations. Yeah, let's call it that. They're trying to get the colonization back. They need reparations. That's literally the perfect analogy you can give it. Not always. You have some chicks that will love them, but like for the most part, yeah. Yeah, reparations. Alright, you guys. I'll go live again soon. Expect another vlog coming soon. And he said my age up needs reparations. You know, I'm supposed to cut my hair, but if I cut my hair, I'm gonna want to go back outside. So I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. If you want to talk to me, make sure you book the consultation. My DMs are turned off on Instagram. You cannot message me anymore. So, yeah. See you guys next time.